Hi, my name is Carolina Garcia and I will explain various topics. I hope they are understood. Okay, one topic. Will, used to, be, always, and ing. Okay, to understand activities or habits that were had or have this form are used, and I will, and used to, and always. It will in refers to two things that could happen or do but they have not yet been done. This is accompanied by time adjectives such as always or never. Used to refers to those habits that were had but no longer. Those activities that were carried out with a certain frequency and is the present no longer. In the same way, it can be accompanied by time adjectives such as always and never. Always, this adjective of time is very useful to understand when activity or habits has been carried out for a long time and is still being carried out. Okay? In short, it refers to a present habit. Okay. The following are example. Okay. I will never go to the city. Okay. And I will not to the city and go there in the understand that even the actions that not passed. That is why to will never go. Okay. I always used to dance at the dance school of my neighborhood. In these sentences, the used to dance is used to imply that in an action the happening before but no longer. And she was always planning on summer evenings by adding the always but not conjured with the ing. It is understood that is an action that was carried out but can happen again. Okay, second, the passive. Okay, the passive and the present progressive, passive, present perfect passive, and past perfect passive. Okay, the passive voice is the one that helps us to highlight an action of the prior. It is the one used to highlight the object or who receives the action and not who did it. In addition, the auxiliary being or being will be used depending on the time when the action was performed on the object to highlight the action. Okay? To understand the difference between is being, is have been, and had been. Okay? Have, it had. Okay? It is necessary to analyze the times which helps it or are passing. For, for example, okay, about 15 people have been killed in floods here in the past 5 years. Okay, in these sentences, they have been, and used because is an action that has been going on for a long time and is not over yet. Okay, we had a flood 6 months ago, but most people had been evacuated before the flood started. Okay, unlike this one where had been, okay, it used because it is an action that occurring in the past and no longer continues in the present. Okay, the house is being painted by them. Okay, and finally, here is either the being is using since it is something that is happening in the present and still does not end. Okay, topic 3. Be used to and get used to. By using used to, it is now that we talk about habits or actions that we repeat in different times. We have to learn to difference when to use in depending on the time in which we were talking and if had habits or customs continues to exist or is being sought. We have these two forms and be used to and get used to. Okay, in either of the two verbs in ending ing will be used after used to. When we talk about habits that we are already used to doing or that we continue to do, unlike get, and which can only be used when it is habit that we can then learn or adopt. Okay, for example, okay, I can get used to living overseas. The customs are just so different where. Okay, and where we clearly speak of a habit that has not been adopted, which was sought to be adopted but has not been carried out. This is why the get is used. Okay, it's traditional to take care of all people in my country, so people are used to it. Okay, it is sentences which about traditional the people have already adopted. That is why the be is used. Okay, and where we have more examples, I got used to eating with chopstick when I lived in Vietnam for a year. Okay, and if you aren't used to spice food, you might find some of our dishes too hot. Okay, topic 4. Past perfect, the past perfect progressive. Okay, now we will talk about the past perfect and the past perfect progressive, but talk about actions that have already happened but one emphasizes more than the other. In the past perfect progressive, it is necessary to use the verb ending in ing after the past participle to imply that the action had more effort, directions or repetitions than normal. Okay, in the past perfect only the past participle is used after the had, unlike the past perfect progressive where the verb ending ing is necessary. Okay, for example, when I saw Scott, he had been working all day and we was very tired. Okay, clearly it was necessary to emphasize the work that the subject and done to understand why he was so tired. For this reason, the past perfect progressive was used. Okay, by 2022 had appeared in over movies. Okay, in this example, only one situation is affirmed, so it is not necessary to emphasize in actions, so the past perfect is used. Okay, and in the following examples, you understand the point or replacing actions with necessary. Okay, Tom Cole tell me what the problem was because he had been running and was out of breath. And I was late for the meeting and they had started by the time I got there. Yeah. Okay, next topic. Would rather and would prefer. Okay, this topic can be confusing because there really isn't much of a difference in how you see the reader or prefer forms. These forms are used to talk about preference at different times. It can be understood that the prefer is used more when the preference is now to be safely held and that it can be done at the moment. Okay? And when the reader is used is when the preference cannot be chosen at the moment to happen. When using the reader, it is necessary to leave the verb in the best form without using the to. Okay? To. Okay. Ahora, will prefer infinitive and when the prefer is used to verb in changed into to infinity using the to. Okay? For example, I would rather learn French than Spanish. Preference is understood as sometimes that can be chose at the moment. And I would prefer to have dinner late tonight, and it is preference as sometimes that can be choose, but not at the time. Also, you can analyze to the use of the infinitive in this sentence. Okay, in the following sentences, this clear difference can be understood. Since in choose there are in the forms of question the choose form, it is because it is not something that it is now, which is what it is preferred the most. That is why the reader is used. Would you rather drive a car or a motorcycle? She would rather live with her parents than alone. Will you prefer the stay in or go out? Okay, next topic. Noun clauses as subjects. The noun clauses are used more to give statements that are considered as rules. To help make such statements connectors such as what, who, how, where, and what who. This will be used depending on where the emphasis is one in the sentences, wherever the subject of the object. Okay? If emphasis is placed on the subject, it is necessary to use what or who, then the verb in its best form, and finally the noun or adjective. Unlike when the emphasis is placed on the object, says after using the what, who, where, or who, the noun goes and then the verb it is the best form. Okay, for example, what a young people need are more training opportunities. Okay, and where is understood that the emphasis is on the subject. That is why the connector or the what clauses we use it. Okay, now how you write is very important. You job application. It is sentences the emphasis is on the object, so the connector of the who clauses is used. In the other sentences, only the context is searches to understand the emphasis and make sense of the connector. Who you makes a big difference in interviews, where you can affect your self-confidence, what a good impressions can create a positive attitude. Okay, thank you for your attentions.